All right, so today I'm in my living room. I am currently packing up all my stuff for the flight out to San Diego tomorrow. And I figured no better time than now to do a gear list. So we're gonna go through a little bit of everything. Some minor stuff I might not go over, such as my specific electronic configuration, but end of the day, that's not super important. But for most of this, we'll be going over it and talking a little bit about each item I have here. So first up, we have my pack. This is the Hyperlight Windrider. The main difference between the different Hyperlight models is the sort of what material you have for your front pockets. Windrider has the mesh pocket. I love this pack. I've been using it for about 3 years now. It's super comfortable. The way they do the back, I think, is a really nice kind of, medium between not having a true frame, but also not being truly frameless. It gives it good support, makes it really comfortable, and the padding they have is really nice in the right places. The hip belt, really nice, doesn't dig into me at all. Absolutely the best hip belt I've actually ever had on a pack like this. The one complaint that I do have that I've, gone and remedied with this right here is that the water pockets, these side pockets here, aren't the easiest thing in the world to reach when you're just hiking along. So I've got this little bottle pocket right here, and this is what's gonna be my drinking water for the day. So I'll have a small 0.75 liter bottle in there, and then I'll have bigger bottles on the back for my main storage. So moving on from my pack to my tent, next step in the big three, I have the Nemo Dagger 2 person. Like I said, I'm a bigger dude, I need a slightly bigger tent. I also really enjoy freestanding tents in general over trekking pole tents. I don't like my sleep system to rely on something that I'm banging on the ground all day. So I think freestanding is really nice. I've used the Nemo Dagger basically, I used an older model of it on the AT. I've used it through, my more recreational backpacking over the past few years. I really enjoy the tent. It's a great combination of both roomy, but also not too heavy, and also really weather resistant. The bathtub design on this will float before it leaks, which I have encountered before. So, got the sleeping bag packed up. You saw it in those wide shots earlier. I'm going with an REI Magma 15 degree bag. 15 degrees is survival rating. Its comfort rating's more high 20s, low 30s. And the reason I went with this bag in particular, I had a choice between this, I have a 35 degree quilt, and then I was considering maybe buying, sort of a, warmer quilt, a 15 degree, something like that quilt. And just, in terms of price and what I'm, going to encounter out there, this is sort of the best in that it'll be fine on its own. I don't need to bring a liner or anything for it. And, there are lighter weight options to do this, but this is, I think personally, just the most cost-effective bag for the job that I could find. This is a newer addition to my sleeping gear. It's a, inflatable pillow. Traditionally, I've done the old trick of putting your head down, sleeping on your clothes, but for this trip, I want to try something a little bit new and just see how it worked out. Super comfortable. I slept on it already, but we'll see if it's actually practical on a longer hike like this. So, last but not least, out of the big three, tent, backpack sleeping system, my new sleeping pad, it's a Nemo Tensor. Hold that upside down there. Personally speaking, I haven't found any real difference between it and, any other inflatable sleeping pad. Got a nice price on it at REI. Me personally, I'm a big side sleeper. I can't really fall asleep out there without it. I've tried using, foam pads for a long time now. It's never worked. So inflatable, something I need to fall asleep out there, and it gets the job done. So just to go over it real quick, this is my cook system here. This is a little stuff sack I use to keep it all together, but generally it all fits in the pot anyways. This is a pot I got as a present before heading out on my AT trek. It's, I believe the company is GSI Outdoors. Yeah, it's a real simple 1.5 liter pot. The lid's kind of broken because I crushed it at one point, but I have that. I have new addition for this, the Pocket Rocket. You know, I used to use what it was called an Optimus Vega, which I really enjoyed, but it's off the market and mine finally broke. So we went with the thing everyone else uses for the stove. And you know, last but not least, trusty sport. And of course we have my trusty bear can here. Yeah, you know, some people, yeah, they like to send their bear can to Kennedy Meadows and then ship up to Washington. Based on what I've seen with the trail this year, you know, it's gonna be, you know, maybe the desert and a bit of Oregon where you're gonna be able to go without a bear can unhindered. And in general, what I found since I started using one of these, you know, I was a big bear hang guy when I was hiking the AT. I started using one of these about 2 years ago and I'm never going back. It's so much easier just to go put this down somewhere away from your camp at the end of the night than it is to go find a proper tree to hang and get the rope over and tie it off and everything. Bear can's easier, plus it acts as a nice stool. So we're gonna be sticking with it the whole way. So, you know, in terms of clothing, I'm not doing anything particularly special compared to other people. So I'll just call out what I think warrants attention. I have my sun hat here. You know, I spent a lot of time working on Wyoming this past summer and really enjoyed how a cowboy hat protects me from the sun. So I went with the same idea here. A little unconventional, but I think it really works. My new Jolly Gear shirt, absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend enough. I really couldn't figure out if I wanted to go with a button down or a sun hoodie. Best of both worlds. That is a Jolly Gear shirt, cannot recommend it enough. Pants versus shorts, haven't decided which way I'm leaning yet. Gonna go out there and try both. I'm learning, the desert's a learning experience for me. So, you know, whichever way I go, I'll figure that out pretty fast. And then the two things that I would say I'm most likely to drop, I brought these. They're gonna be acting as sun gloves. We'll see if I need them. You know, better to be prepared. And I also have, you know, some gaiters. I've never been a big gaiter guy personally, but I've just heard horror stories of blisters and such on the southern 500 miles of the PCT. So we'll give them a shot as well. And I will say my number one piece of advice to newer hikers, it's fine to overpack. You can send stuff home the first time you get into town. It's better to overpack and have to send stuff home than to be, oh, I forgot something super important. Now I have to drop another, you know, $100 on a new piece of gear that I, you know, forgot at home. Or I have to wait 3 weeks for someone to send it to me in the next town and so on. Easier just to overpack, and if you have some stuff you need to send home, send it. And last but not least, of course, special attention to the footwear. The Hoka Speed Goat, for me personally, has been by far and away the best trail runner on the market. Super comfortable, you know, good amount of drop to it, and it just supports my foot in all the right ways. And, you know, it is super durable. This is by far the longest lasting trail runner I have found. I get almost 800 miles out of a pair. So it's really nice in terms of the economics of it as well. So now what we have left, and I haven't packed up already, random miscellaneous stuff. You know, Crocs for camp shoes, sit pad, Black Diamond trekking poles. These are fantastic. I'm not sure if I brought it up on a video. I think I mentioned in the past, but my last set of Black Diamonds really didn't hold my weight well. These have not given me an issue yet, and the grips feel fantastic. And of course, trowel, towel, my water filtration system, using a Sawyer squeeze with CNOC, pretty basic stuff. I'll show how that works when I'm actually on trail for someone who might not be familiar. A little bit of rope just in case I need it, and my electronics and various other things bag. And that's just about it. And just as a little video exclusive, we have the ice axe. This isn't coming with me the whole way. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't have a lot of information to talk about with it. This is a vintage axe that my dad used a long time ago in mountaineering. I'm super excited to use it. I'm excited to save money on either renting or buying one of my own. It's nothing too fancy, especially compared to a lot of the stuff today, but it gets the job done. So that's about it in terms of stuff specifically worth mentioning. By the time this video comes out, I'm going to have a blog post where I'm going to be a lot more eloquent than I am just off the cuff on video. If you want to check that out, get a better feel for my gear, feel free to do so. The link, as always, is in the description. If not, hope you enjoyed, and by the time you see this, I think I will be on trail. So keep an eye out. First day video is going to be coming up real soon after this. All right, have a good one.